Hey guys, Zach and Flip with Rick here. Today we're going to do a special video, something that seems a little too general, but not too general. It's just, a brush up for a lot of people here is something that I wish I could have seen when I was younger was just very simply is how to find properties at a discount. And when I mean a discount, this has been said to death at a deep, deep discount, how to find properties and get contracts that are below the value of, let's say, the market. So a lot of people will think, hey, that's impossible. There's no way to find discounted properties. There's markets and you just list it and that's it. That's the only reason that people sell properties. The MLS is the only way to buy and sell property, and it's not the truth at all. Now, you've seen videos before with me and Rick that we buy properties constantly at deep discounts, fix them up or wholesale them, and make huge $40,000, $50,000 spreads and make great profits doing that. And you might ask, is this black magic that you're doing? I mean, how are you doing this? And the key is you have to find discounted properties. Now, the reason that we find properties at a discount is because our company, we find solutions for people that are motivated. And now, the number one and most important thing in finding a discounted property, it's the property could be trashed or have problems, but the real reason why we find these discounted properties is because we connect with the sellers and we find sellers that have issues or problems, and we find solutions with them with our company. And the meeting of those minds creates those opportunities for discounted properties. Now, real estate is not like stocks or bonds where there's a huge market and they're very linear. When I mean linear, it is a stock of, let's say, Amazon or Microsoft. It's just a stock. It's cookie cutter. It's there. It's just a slice of a whole company. Completely different than real estate, especially in real estate investing, because a property is so different wherever you go in the country. There could be different builders, different years they're built. Properties are just so different everywhere, and they're not as liquid. When I mean liquid, I mean they're a lot harder to sell. When I mean that, I mean usually it takes 90 plus days to sell a property. And so what you need to do is find a motivated seller. Motivated seller has a problem and they need a solution. Don't mind my dog behind me. He's hanging out here with me. You just got to be careful around the house, because if he starts barking, I'm going to have to re-record this whole video. But he's sleeping behind me, so we should be good. So sorry for that interruption, but this is as real as it gets. I'm out doing real estate deals all the time. I had 3 appointments I just got back from, and I got about 4 more tomorrow, all from using the methods I'm about to tell today. And so you need to find a motivated seller, somebody who wants to sell their property and needs to sell the property, and they're willing to take a discount on that property for convenience, quickness, and most importantly, easiness. One thing that I've heard a lot with a lot of people is a lot of realtors might scream at you. I mean, if you look at videos saying real estate investors are scammers. Now, what they mean by this is they think we steal equity from people, and that could be furthest from the truth. Now, if you want to get in the steal equity debate, you can go back to anything you do. So if I go to McDonald's and buy a hamburger, they're stealing my equity, because I technically can create and cook my own hamburger from scratch. I can go to a wheat field and create my own bread and hand over and just slave over this and create a burger from scratch. I could do that, or just pay $1 for it. And technically it'd be cheaper if I mass produce burgers and that's all I ate. I'd be stealing my equity. Same thing with people selling used cars. They just trade them in because it's easier. It's not worth the hassle. People do this with properties all the time. That's just another reason for motivated sellers. Now, motivated sellers, like I've said, they're not average sellers. The average person that sells their property is the average American. They got a new job and they just list it with a realtor, and they don't they're not in a dire need to sell the property. You know, they have money, they have equity in their home, and they just want to put it on the market and get the most for it. Those people are not what we're looking for, especially when trying to find motivated sellers. Now, motivated sellers rarely will list their property. It's definitely a bad situation when that happens, especially because their needs can't be met with an average realtor. It can't sit on the market for 180 days and pass inspections. It just won't happen. So the number one thing you have to do is locate the motivated seller, and the discounted property usually will follow. Now, people could be motivated, but the property, for example, the property might be worth $100,000 and they owe $150,000 on it. Now, you might think to yourself, hey, that's not ideal. They're screwed out of luck here. There's other ways where we can actually make money from that with short sales. I'm not going to go into a 20-minute deep dive on short sales, especially since I was about 6 to 8 years old when short sales were really, really good and good way to make money. That's something Rick's more of a expert on. Maybe in 10 years time I can do deep dives like that. I've done a couple short sales, but not tens of deals, hundreds of deals like Rick. Now, you got to find the motivated seller. And what we need to do is locate them. So locating a motivated seller is easier said than done. Most real estate investors, to find discounted properties, they will market for motivated sellers to meet our solutions, which is buying a property for cash with the problem that they're having, let's say a death, they're getting foreclosed on, other short sale situations, code violations, the roof's caving in, they can't afford the repairs. Or a motivation that I found lately with some deals that we have is bad tenants. Tenants that have just trashed the property and it's just such a headache, they just want to get rid of the property. So a way to find motivated sellers is to market. Now, marketing is... There's a lot to marketing in it for real estate. I can talk for 10 hours about marketing. That's what I do. Probably 50% of my time in real estate investing is just working on marketing, trying to find deals, trying to find different ways to market to find properties. And so I'm going to list off some ways we market to find the discounted properties. This is for the whole umbrella on finding discounted properties. Now, they're going to have to be off market. I mean, this is, we're not going to be going on the MLS every day. First of all, I'm not a licensed realtor. I can get connected to realtors that can help me find it. Rick owns a real estate brokerage. We've scoured the MLS. If there's a deal out there, the property's already been sold. Especially with these discounts, especially on MLS, they're very razor thin, maybe 10% below what they may be worth. It's just not worth it for us. We got to find properties that are off the market. Now, when I say off market, is they're not listed on the MLS. I would consider off market for sale by owners also, technically not on the MLS either. Now, I can either talk to people who are doing for sale by owners. A lot of these people aren't motivated and they just want to cut off real estate commissions, and we usually don't talk to these people. Now, I'm going to list from cheapest to most expensive the ways to market. Now, our cheapest solution to finding discounted properties and motivated sellers is door knocking. I don't recommend door knocking. It is the cheapest. You go on a door, you knock on it. Hey, sir or ma'am, are you interested in selling your property for cash? Trying to qualify them as a motivated seller. To qualify a motivated seller, obviously, you'll have to ask them questions, try to do a deep dive on their motivations, and see if your solution of buying a property cash will help meet their needs, and see if that solution is below the market to buy. Door knocking, don't recommend it. You can get a lot of angry people doing it, and it's very low percentage. A lot of realtors do door knocking too. I don't knock, no pun intended, I don't knock on it, but I don't recommend door knocking. Our second cheapest option, which we have people doing this for us, I don't do this myself, is driving for dollars. That is just driving around in your car looking for distressed properties with high grass, bad roofs, boarded up windows, smashed windows, terrible lawns, just properties, cracks in the stucco, or just general issues, mold on the property. We usually, what I would do recommending, we have bird dogs who do this for us, is they'll drive around town looking for good areas which we actually have found deals in, and they'll look at it and they'll write down the address, usually maybe a voice memo, or they'll physically have like a deal machine app or something like that, and they'll create an Excel list and send it to me. And if I get a deal, I'll give them $500, or some guys 5% of the deal. That's driving for dollars. Pretty cheap. We'll do deep dive videos on this too. And our third option here, third least expensive, I would say, is to find code violations. Now, I'm just going to do lightning rounds of all these. I don't want to get too much into detail. Trust me, by the end of next year and this year, I'll do deep dives on these marketing strategies. But code violations, in essence, it's just a list from the county of code violations, high grass, environmental hazards, trash. You're just gonna have to sift through that and find reasons why someone might be motivated. Someone might have high grass because the property is vacant, which brings us into our next one, is to find vacant properties. It is a public list from the USPS of properties that are vacant. Sometimes you can find absentee owner lists. Another list you can find is tax delinquency, people who are behind on their taxes. Usually when people are behind on their taxes, they might have money problems, and to fix those money problems, they might need a quick cash for their property. That's one way you can meet your solution with someone else's issues and their motivations. Now, another one you can do is cold calling. Now, cold calling could go under the umbrella of what I've said before. If I have a list of things from driving for dollars from my bird dog, I might cold call those people, which cold calling is the art of calling someone that you don't know and asking them your services. Hey, this is Zach from Zach Buys Houses. Are you interested in selling your property for cash? I drove by the property and something I'd be interested in. Just talk to them like that. And usually people will say no, F off, other rude things like that. But every, I would say, 1,000 to 1,200, it's getting a little tougher lately. You will get a deal and a contract and make money off of that. Now, cold calling could be very expensive, especially if you go on ListSource, pay that full price of 25 cents, or get a deal at like 5 cents, and you just skip trace that one for 10 cents or up, and then cold call, and then pay a person like maybe someone off of Fiverr or something, like $5-6 to cold call for 24 hours because you got 3 people cold. That could be extremely expensive. That's huge call center stuff. I'm just talking about you doing it. That's cheaper than their next option, which is bandit signs. Bandit signs are great. That's how I got started in real estate investing at 17 years old, and I got my first 2 deals from. Bandit signs are amazing. I love bandit signs. Those are those nice little signs you get with, hey, we buy houses, phone number. I like that because they actually come to you, and you're not going after them like a cold call. They're coming to you. Our next, I'm just going to do some lightning rounds here. Facebook advertisements or pay-per-click. Could get complicated if you know what you're doing. That's really good too. And our most expensive, I would say, would be direct mail. Direct mail, you can either do direct mail with probates, direct mail with code violations, direct mail with absentee owner, direct mail with unknown equity, and direct mail with other aspects you can do. The most deals that we get is from direct mail. We have a very set parameter that we use in our direct mail that we have been testing for 15 years in our market, and we find pulling that from ListSource gets us the most deals possible. Now, you're gonna have to be part of the Flip with Rick U University. to get that. We have a link. It's flipwithrick.com/university. Quick plug there. But that's how you can get into that whole direct mail space and just go crazy and get great properties like that. But this video is for someone starting out also, how to find that. And honestly, if you do jobbing for dollars, you pull code violations lists, pull probate lists, and just cold call those, and just keep hammering out, putting bandit signs out. You will get a deal, and you will find a discounted property. Now, once you do that, let's say I put a bandit sign, guy calls me, say, hey, I have such a massive issue with this property. I got water leaks, the roof's caving in, I don't know what to do. This is like a third home for me. The tenants just left and trashed it. I don't know what to do. I'm over my head here. I got plenty of money. It's just this property is just stressing me out. An example would be I would go to that property, show them what I could do, buy the property for cash. I can show them the last 3 deals I've done where I've actually bought them cash, show I'm a legitimate person. If I had no money and I was, I like the movie 17 again, I would just offer them my solution, because I will have a cash buyer in there to help them out. And you talk to them, you do the whole negotiating, that's in another video, but we'll get a solution for them and we'll get the property on contract. Either I'll buy it and then we'll fix it up, put $1 to $2 grand into it and put it back on the MLS, or just wholesale the property to a person that will put the full $50,000, $60,000 into it. And it's a win-win. They're happy, I'm happy, I got money, they got money, it's great. And the one thing you have to think about with finding discounted property, sometimes you want to make sure they have enough equity. And there's just so many things you can do once you find a discounted property. There's so many fun ways to make money. You can either just wholesale it, wholetail it. You've heard wholetailing from Rick a million times and from me a million times. You can do subject to lease options. Or honestly, you can just buy the property and put the $60,000 and put it on the MLS if you're a good realtor. But that's it. That's how to find discounted properties in 2019. Zach in Flip with Rick. See you later.